Hi, I'm going to be reviewing the Inline Brake Master Kit from Inline Tube, the stainless steel brake kit for the 80 to 86 Ford F150 today. I'm in the process right now of restoring this 86 F150. I'm going to be converting it from two-wheel drive to four-wheel drive. I bought in a donor truck. I've removed all of the suspensions from the front of the donor truck. I'm in the process of cleaning it up. There's going to be other videos regarding that as well. The Dana 44 on a Ford F150 has its issues as there's no drain plug, so the only way to drain the fluid is to break the case off of the front axle. We're going to be installing a drain plug. Also going to be doing a spring in the right side passenger side axles where the slip yoke's at to make that a floating axle, semi-floating. And we'll also be removing the C-clip and adding a Spartan locker. We're going to be adding Spartan locker into the differential so that when we do lock up the front hubs, it will be all four-wheel drives engaged. The rear is a 355 with a Ford Racing limited slip differential in it, and that's kind of where we're at right now with the truck. I've got the frame all cleaned up and painted, so there's going to be other videos. This is like my first video on YouTube, so there's going to be more content coming soon. So, you know, make sure you hit the subscribe button, the like. If you have questions, I always appreciate questions, feedback, because I am new to this. If you see stuff I'm doing wrong or stuff that you would like more of, please let me know. I'm going to start with this brake installation kit that I got from Inline Tube. Everything in the box seems to be right on as far as the fitment goes. I went and matched up, you know, where the axle brakes are. And I'll be showing like more of the kit here in a sec. But this here is like one of the axle tubes. I've held them up to them. They're pretty close. I've went ahead and installed the master cylinder brake lines, and they matched right up. The fittings were right on both of them, so there was no issues at all with that. And I'm thinking that the rest of it's going to go just as easy. So we'll go ahead and get started with that. And so I just want to give you a little closer look at what comes in the box from Inline Tube when you order the brake line kit. This here are all the tubes, and it is a complete kit. It does come with the master cylinder lines. I was curious if it did or didn't. I was on the Bronco Graveyard website, and it really didn't say which lines it comes with, but it is complete and comes with all of the lines. This here is the part number for the brake line kit. It is for the 80 to 86 F150, F100, four-wheel drive and two-wheel drive, short and long bed with front disc brakes. I was curious, you know, because when you order these, it asks you if it's a short or long bed, and I could have swore it had different part numbers for short bed or long bed. So it does come with both sections for the short bed or the long bed rear brake line. Everything I've went through here, and I went ahead and installed the ones on the front. Just give you a closer look at that. All the fittings fit perfectly. I mean, I didn't have to do much to the lines either to get them to look like that. They're not touching each other. There is a bracket there that goes on the back of the master cylinder right under here, and I've cleaned it up and the paint's dry on it. I'm going to install it next. But then I'm going to run this new brake line along the front cross member here over to the passenger side brake. So I'm going to get it out of the box here, and we'll get it installed along the frame rail there and get it connected at the proportioning valve, and we'll get it fastened over at the frame so it'll be ready to go when I do get the suspension on and the brakes and start getting everything, you know, the hoses mounted to it. Okay, so we're under the truck now, and I've got the line positioned. I went ahead and first ran it over out the passenger side hole in the frame where the brake hose comes up to it, and it mounts on the back side of the A-arm, the control arm. And then my light just went out. One sec. so the light's back on. And I went ahead and routed it over out the passenger side, and then I ran it up here where the proportioning valve is. I'm going to go ahead and make the connection here first and leave it kind of loose, and then I'm going to go ahead and snap it in on the frame mounts. There's one up there under the front motor mount bracket, and then there's one down here on the cross member, and that's it for holding it there. I did go ahead and stretch the spring. These brake lines come with a spring on them, which is kind of cool. Keeps them from getting rubbed if they do encounter the frame. So I went ahead and pulled on it and stretched it, and I'll probably do some more to get it down below that motor mount bracket there, just in case it rubs or something along there. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off while I go ahead and connect the brake line here at the proportioning valve where that line's hanging down. And then I'll come back on and we'll look at the brake line into the connectors, the frame mounts, and see how they do. I'm sure I'm going to have to bend this a little bit to get this to fit right. I mean, it's not perfect, but they're pretty gosh darn close. So I'm going to go ahead and get that on, and then we'll come right back and take a look at that. Okay, so the old brake line that's on there, the fitting on the proportioning valves is a 7/16, and the one on the new line is a 3/8. Okay, so when you go to do this, you'll definitely want to take both wrenches down. Okay, so I got it all mounted to the proportioning valve, the bottom of the proportioning valve, and it fits right along the frame, right into that plastic mounting tab, and then along the frame rail down below the drop, all the way over and out the frame and to the shock tower mount. I mean, it fits. It couldn't have been any better. I mean, I didn't have to do hardly anything to it. It was kind of hard to get the fitting started into the bottom proportioning valve, but I seem to always have problems getting those things started. But once I did, it went right in, and it looks like a factory piece. Stainless steel, never going to have to worry about it rusting, you know, or painting it or anything like that. So I'm real happy with it so far. They look like they're going to be a pretty simple install. I haven't ran into any issues with the wrong fittings. Like, I've read reviews where some people had picked up the wrong, they went to install it and the fitting was wrong. They had to flare it. So I contacted the company just in case, you know, that was going to be an issue. Like, if I would have to replace the fittings on some of these lines, since it's stainless steel, you can run into problems with it splitting if it's not been annealed. So I contacted the company, and they said that these lines are annealed. So if you do need to cut them and reflare them, you can do it with a regular flare fitting tool. So that's a good thing. So I'm going to put the rest of these on, and then I'll go ahead and do like a video of where they're ran and how well they fit. And we'll follow up with that. So thanks. Okay, so I got the rear ones on, and they look really good. They fit. I didn't have any issues at all hooking these up. They fit perfectly. None of the fittings were wrong. The fittings were all right. They all snap into the clips right where the original ones did. I mean, just look at them. They're perfect. They're up above the axle, you know, along the back of the axle. They're not going to get snagged on anything. Nice looking application. I'll tell you, if you're going to restore a vehicle, this is well worth. I think I paid $170 for this kit, and they're well worth that. So that's the rear. The only one I have left now is the one that runs along the frame that goes up here where this rear tube is, and goes up and along the frame inside there. So I've got a makeshift one I started along there that I was going to put a compression fitting on, jerry rig it up to the proportioning valve. I'm going to pull that out of there, and then I'll install the one that came in the kit, and then this will be a done deal right here. And as far as I can tell right now, it's well worth every penny. Stainless steel. Like I said, you're not going to have to worry about it. I just want you to know, you get all the steel in the kit. There's no brake hoses, so that's the only thing you'll need to buy besides this kit is new brake hoses if you're going to replace those. But so far, so good with this install. Okay, so this is a look underneath after I've installed the main line that runs along the frame here. Took a little bit of time because I thought that one line was one piece that went all the way to the back, and it doesn't. There's the two lines, the two long lines go together, and you should have a coupling if you have your original brake line that joins those two long pieces together, and that's from the factory. My donor vehicle was unbutchered underneath there, and it had this union on it, so I went and got it off of it. But it runs in that lower mount. It's kind of hard to see, but it runs in that lower mount there under the fuel lines, and it runs all the way back through the shock mount bracket. And then up, you can see it up there where the rubber line meets, and it's got the spring that runs along there where it could rub along those rubber lines and stuff. It fit good. I mean, I didn't have to adjust it at all. It was kind of long here at the union, and I had to push it back up towards the front of the car, the front of the truck. But I just adjusted a little bit up there to make up for the slack, so it would be perfect here, and it's not touching anything behind these brackets. So I'm gonna say it's a great product. I mean, I can't complain at all, really. And we'll go out and look along the outside of the frame. That's the cross member I showed you earlier. So this is where it comes out from underneath. Out from underneath, and then it goes up here to the back of the proportioning valve. And then I went ahead and hooked on the front brake line. That is coming through here. Here, and they're all on. I got the bracket on there at the power booster to keep them from vibrating, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. One thing I will recommend is having some of these tools here to pull out your fittings and stuff along the frame, your plastic fittings, so you can reuse them. Keep track of those. I did bag mine up, and I did have most of them, but where they went on the frame, I cleaned this frame up with a flapper disc, and I used Rust-Oleum red primer on it, and then I sprayed it with a semi-gloss black professional grade Rust-Oleum spray paint. That way, if it ever gets messed up, I can just touch it up easily. So I really didn't know which holes that a lot of these things went in. So I spent some time today looking on the donor truck and finding the ones that I was missing and getting them exactly the way they were originally. So it is exactly the way it was before I took it all apart. So that's pretty much it on this install. If you have questions, please keep them in the send your questions and your comments. And I'm still not sure if this is for the short bed or the long bed, because I thought, like I said, on this deal, the deal here is shares rear long bed, rear long and short bed. I think this is just for the long bed truck. I think this is just for the long bed truck, so, you know, if you do have a short bed, make sure that you go to their website and double check and make sure you get the right kit. But mine turned out great. I am very happy with the way it looks. And you guys have a good evening, and thanks for your time. Bye. In closing, I wanted to clarify something. I was confused whether this was for short bed and long bed models. As I was cleaning up after the job, I did find a brake line that was in the back of my truck where I first unboxed them. So it does cover long bed and short bed models. I will leave in the description links to the kit that I bought. I'll leave the link in there for inlinetube.com where you can go and look for other kits that are for different vehicles and whatnot. And I'll also leave a link to the pry tools that I use to remove the brake line clips from the frame. Those are really handy in removing those and other clips, wiring clips and stuff throughout your vehicle. They'll make your life a lot easier. This is my first YouTube video. I realize I made some mistakes through it, like not zooming in, and the editing is kind of tough, so bear with me on that stuff, guys. I do like to keep the videos short, so if there's something that I kind of skimmed over that you would like to have seen, or something that if you want to give me advice, I'm open to that stuff. But I do like to keep them short and to the point. Basically, this video was so you could see the way the lines fit on your vehicle, how the install went, and any problems that arose during it. So that's all I needed. I've kind of held off on ordering these brake line kits for a while because I didn't know if you would be able to flare them if they had the wrong fittings on the end of them, how hard they would be to bend. They bent just like the steel lines that you can buy from AutoZone or whatever. So they're real easy to install. The fittings on each line matched. I didn't have to change anything on them. But if you need to, I was told by the company that you can, so you have that peace of mind as well. I'm not getting paid by Inline Tube in any way. I paid full price for this kit off of eBay. I just wanted to put a video out there so people that were on the fence like I was, wanting to get the kit, could see what's involved in installing them. It went on kind of easy on my truck because the engine's out of there, the transmission, and I had a lot of stuff along the frame that was out of there. So your installation's probably going to be a little bit tougher than mine was, but it is a really good kit. And I paid $185 was the price that I paid on eBay plus tax, the free shipping, and that's pretty much it for me. I'm going to be posting other videos as far as this Dana 44 rear front end differential that I'm putting on the front of the truck, so those videos will be coming soon. I appreciate your time watching, and you guys have a great day. Thanks. Bye.